YouTube, Motley Patriot channel. Because after all, hey Motley Patriot people, we're out here going live with our good buddies at Gormeltz. Hey, check out my YouTube channel. Why not? You know, it's crazy. It doesn't matter how much nice gear you buy. Phones are updated all the time. NSA likes them, they're happy with them, you know. It's like, okay. So, and I have found basically at the end of the day, just having multiple phones solves everything.
Yeah.
Now, where are you from originally?
Oh, here.
From Fredericksburg?
I'm here in Virginia. I grew up in Woodbridge.
Okay, Woodbridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a recording studio in Manassas for years. So, keeping the electricity on is always a good thing. Yeah, I see a lot of the news guys in Richmond. I've gone to Richmond to do some events, and even with the national, the local national news,
Yeah.
it's one camera guy doing all his tech work and all his camera work, and it's like wow.
I started in television and I got out.
It's brutal.
Yeah. Didn't really care for it.
They're like, well, we don't know you.
No, we broke this Quantico thing 2 weeks ago.
What was that? Oh,
The Fort Nash was on the base.
with. Did you interview him? He called it first.
Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt's always on point.
Yeah, Matt's got it.
I had a hard time understanding. I just thought Matt liked to fight. And then you start looking at what he's fighting about. You go, oh, he's just pulling the fire alarm.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of conservative folks have just kind of, nobody wants to pull the fire alarm.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to cause trouble. And it's like,
Oh, it's interesting. I'll run the gay pride stuff.
Yeah.
In Manassas, they have the gay pride festival.
and we're
They'll
live
have-
right now, just so you know.
They'll have all that stuff. And I take a lot of heat for it. They're like, well, you must be promoting it. You must be. And
There's a conversation to be had.
and so I put it out there, and I get a lot of traffic on it. I get a lot of conversations, you said. And so that's kind of what I go for. So when I see people say, well, somebody should go test this, so I'll go message that person. Like, so are you planning on why do you ask? On my Facebook post, it said something. And they're like, no, we wouldn't, I don't think so. We're not going to do that. So there are people who pull the fire alarm and people who think somebody else should pull the fire alarm. And that's pulling the fire alarm. Sure.
Hey everybody, we're just doing a test run, and I've met a very interesting gentleman who was involved with some of the breaking with Quantico and sort of how that kind of got patted down, if you will, by a certain administration without mentioning names. And you said you guys broke that
We
story?
broke that story.
And which organization is this?
Potomac Local News.
Potomac Local News. Very
So
cool.
we're based in Quantico's our backyard.
Nice.
A lot of chatter going on about what had happened there. You had 2 foreign nationals who
Yeah.
were arrested there for trying to breach security at the base.
Yeah, nobody said in the email that said that's not the base
That's not
to
a good
breach.
idea. Yeah,
not that one.
idea. And
That's
what
a pretty
was,
hard target.
What was amazing to us is that we have spent as local journalists so much time covering meetings and what have you from the base commanders and the local politicians. The base is always saying how they want to be a great neighbor and how our relationship is so important for transparency. But no one
Until something happens.
Until something happened and no one talked about it.
Well, and that's a top down, when you think about how, so you remember Loudoun County. So everybody wants to be happy, fuzzy, kumbaya, and then when something bad happens, they're like, oh, optics are bad on this. We can't let this get out. And this is kind of part and parcel of what's wrong with the government right now is that there is zero accountability on some levels. But as citizens, we get involved. What you're doing is great. Journalists, the founding fathers, it's like that's the other way we keep on the rails.
So we try to keep our community informed, and we certainly appreciate everyone who supports us. It's few and far between, but there are still journalists in this country who are working on the local level, trying to keep people honest and trying to explain what's happening in communities. And that's what we're doing here.
Well, folks, you'll know that one of the things that he just mentioned is they're a local journalist. And so I would make the comment that as you find out, as you mature in the political process, we were talking about getting people involved that show up and complain. The thing is to get more involved beforehand. Everybody can jump and pull their hairs on fire. But what you're doing is more proactive. You're sort of like working as a communication arm. As it was intended to do.
Right. Informing the community, and actually we involve the community. We have freelancers, citizen journalists who work with us, whom we pay to go to local meetings and go to things and tell us what's happening.
Not to interrupt, but how robust is your op-ed page?
So we don't really do an op-ed page.
They sort of do it as independent journalists?
Well, we kind of, the internet has filled that void.
Sure, okay.
Right? Social media is the place for opinions. When I want to know what's going on with city council and board of supervisors, my congressman, which in this district it's Abigail Spanberger, that Cameron Hamilton is trying to change that and trying to become the congressman for this 7th district. But when people want to know about what's going on in those areas, that's what we give.
So you're leaning into decorum a little bit more in a traditional journalistic sense. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement.
Because I know decorum is the first thing that goes out the window.
Mm-hmm. We're looking for facts.
Yeah.
We're looking, and so when we broke the Quantico story, we started bubbled up on social media. The guy who owns this place, Matt Strickland.
Right.
We've been covering Matt Strickland for years.
Matt's a lightning rod, and he sort of sees things before other people see them.
He does. And matter of fact, the first time I ever went into Spotsylvania court was for Matt. The first time as a reporter, because I covered his case when he started going fisticuffs with the governor. And
this is Northam.
This is Governor Northam. Yeah, I should say that the previous governor, Governor Northam.
That's a loose application of the term, calling him the governor. Oh, sorry, I let that slip out.
But yeah, no, we look for facts, and the code was a lightning rod. It polarized people. We were here when Matt kind of opened up and said, you know what, we're not only going to not worry about the COVID restrictions. We're going to operate like it's 2019 and invite everybody in to come have dinner. And we were there for that. That's a news story. So we try to cover the community. We try to show people what's going on. And as I was going with that Quantico story, we started bubbling up online, and we started working our sources.
Right.
What have you heard? What do you know? And so once we double sourced our information, we put it out there, and we got something on the record. It wasn't everything we wanted on the record.
I'm sure they buttoned up on that as fast as they
There are
could.
still things that we have not gotten from them that we know they should
You guys do
know.
FOIAs?
Yes, we do a lot of FOIA. We do a lot of
Get a lot of black lines on those FOIAs?
Sometimes, but the key is we ask the questions, we do the homework.
Good.
We put it out there for them to
So
decide.
the organization, again, because this is something, I've seen your work indirectly, but I wasn't aware it was kind of like behind some of this conversation. The organization again?
It's PotomacLocal.com.
PotomacLocal.com. Well, that's pretty cool, actually. And so, and you sort of recycle as the events come out, or is there a sort of fresh news day?
Yeah, no, we publish every day. We have an email
good.
that goes out every day. You can sign up for that free email
good.
at PotomacLocalNews.com.
PotomacLocalNews.com. PotomacLocalNews.com. Check it out.
So if you live in Virginia, especially Northern Virginia, you're going to find some interesting things there.
Good. Oh, good. And this whole, so I'm going to stick it out there. I don't work for the campaign. I'm just I was told the other day, well, you're an activist. I'm like, no, I just care about the community. I see people that sort of share my values and integrity. They have more integrity than me. I like them already, So you doing your due diligence, you mentioned earlier, you double source. That's pretty good. Sometimes I kind of get in front of my stuff and that sort of, my guts are really good, but you're doing the diligence of a journalist as opposed to like an activist like myself.
Right. We don't want to get hauled in court.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that our bases are covered and that what we report can be attributed to multiple sources.
Sure, that's good. Let them get hold of the court.
That's
anyway,
right.
And your name again?
My name's Uriah Kaiser.
Uriah Kaiser. How do you spell that?
Uriah.
Like Uriah Heep, right?
Yeah, that's right, just like
And
that.
Kaiser, like the compressor.
Yeah, Kiser.
Very nice. And I am Paul, Koch, fellow crowd to crowd, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Swiss German. But anyway, thanks for checking in, folks. We'll try to get some more interviews later on. And again, check out that organization,
Potomac Local.
PotomacLocal.com.
There you go.
See, I already made the mistake. I'm terrible with names, but good with integrity. Anyway,
Thank you, Paul.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's good. That should play out well. my supervisor just came by.
Okay. And there was an interesting moment.
So we're live streaming on YouTube. Probably pick that out later. So check your phone. Sign into it. So I got to talk to Google. So next time we try to set up an account, so I'm trying on my YouTube on the screen. That's what happened. The rest of that other one. But there is another Motley Patriot channel. So I've got to talk to them and figure out how to unmess that up. So I did. Right now. Go on your phone and go check it out. Go feed out, see how it's doing.